I'm going to throw you even deeper today. Perfect, Emily. This actually ties into math. Awesome. Perfect. That's exactly what I like to hear, is that because this is real life, right? This is real life. This is the stuff that you guys need to know. So we're going to focus on the income aspect together. The next assignment that you guys are going to focus on yourselves is what your costs are going to be. Okay, so right now we're talking about money coming in. By yourselves, you're going to learn about money going out. All right, so that's what we're focusing on. Okay, so here's a start. We need to start at a pay stub. How many of you guys actually have a job? Give me a green check mark if you have a job. And I mean a job that gives you a pay stub, right? So babysitting, mowing lawns, that sort of thing, not going to count. How many of you guys actually earn? Perfect. That's awesome. Good, Belle, because that's exactly where we're going today. Oh, I love that this is right in with math. That's awesome. Okay, so I know that Caitlin does because she works at McDonald's. Anybody else? Anybody else have a pay? Oh, Slade, you get a pay stub. Awesome. Yes, for your work. Good. Now here's a question for you guys then, right? Do you actually read your pay stub? To those of you that do, like Caitlin, do you ever look at your pay stub? Slade, do you look at your pay stub? Yeah, you look over it. Question is, do you understand it? Right? Sometimes even now I still don't understand some of the stuff that's coming out on my pay stub. Yeah, right? I'd say that's a good thing to do too. Yeah. Yeah, it can be confusing, right? So this is just an example of one, you guys. Okay? So this is an example of like a pay stub that you would get if you were working at like Jersey City, right? So you can see there's lots of numbers and there's lots of terms that you may not know as well. And that's kind of what I want to go over today with our time together, right? So you can see that there's kind of two sections to a pay stub. There's your earnings and there's your deductions, right? So your earnings are what you are earning, right? That is your money coming in. That is what money you have, okay? Whereas your deductions are the money that's taken off your paycheck and what is going out, right? So you can see here, and we talked a lot about this to you guys in our employment rights, right? Remember our Employment Standards Act assignment that we talked about? We talked about, vacation pay, and we talked about hours, how many hours you can work in a week, right? That sort of thing. So this is obviously a very old pay stub because they're only getting paid $8.75 an hour, okay? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you can see that, and they worked 10 hours during this pay period, right? They get a bonus amount, and they always have usually on most pay stubs too, that you get a year to date as well from when your start date happened. So their gross pay was $103.81, right? $103.81. That is before deductions. That's what gross pay is, and I'm assuming you already know what that means if you're working on this with math. You know the difference between gross and net. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. Gross pay is what you make before deductions. It's the good number. It's the number that you're like, wow, I make so much money. What you actually see on your check is the other number. What you actually see in your bank account is the other number, right? After deductions. You get your net pay. Okay? Great question, Angelina. No idea. Google it and see if you can come up with an answer. Okay? Yeah. And Caitlin, I'm going to tell you, Caitlin P., it only gets worse. Even if, as you get into your career, right? Because the more money you make, the more income tax you have to pay, right? So on and so forth. So you just get more money taken off. Oh, it's just a vicious cycle of getting into adulthood, you guys. All right. So you can see here, and again, going back to that Employment Standards Act, right? You guys, we talked about some of these deductions, right? Your federal tax, your EI, which is your employment insurance, right? Everybody pays into that in case you have, you know, a downturn in the economy and you do have to go on to EI. That's what everybody pays into that, and you guys can draw on that. And then CPP, does anybody know what CPP stands for? Since you're doing it in math, have you talked about these type of deductions? What's CPP? Awesome. Yes. Good. See, I don't even need to do this with you guys. You guys already have this down. Yes, it's your Canadian pension plan. That's right. Okay, so you can see that this person actually made $91 and whatever it says there, 96 cents. Okay, so that is an example of one, and this is the same company, just a different example, you guys, where someone is actually working now, making $10.25 an hour, right, $2 more, and or $1.25 more, and working way more hours, right? So the first one was probably more of a student scenario when you're only working 10 hours a week. That's super part-time, right? You might get a shift, maybe 1 or 2 shifts a week, versus this is 66 hours. Now you're looking at really full-time work. Okay, so you can see that there's quite a difference in that paycheck, and there's quite a difference in the deductions, right? You guys can see there's a big jump, okay? So just be aware of that, all right? So, but that's really how you want to make sure that you're reading your pay stub, you guys, because sometimes there can be mistakes as well. So make sure you really learn how to read a pay stub. Super important. Now, each of you have different plans after high school. I already know that because I've been looking at your career plans, right? But at some point, you're going to have to move out on your own and be financially independent from your parents. I hope that's all your goals, to actually move away from mom and dad and be financially independent, right? Now, starting today, this is what I want you guys to explore. Caitlin, I'd like you to say that to your mom and dad. Let them know that. This is what I want you guys to explore, and this is really what I want you to learn. This is what I want you guys to internalize. What it means to be financially literate, okay? What are some common expenses that you might have and incur over once you do move out on your own? How much you need to cover for those expenses, and really how to avoid debt. That's huge, you guys. All right? Yes, Caitlin. Yeah, for sure. So really, this is life. This is financial life. All right? This is the life cycle of your dollars. Every pay week, right? So you start in that left-hand corner there, you guys, right? You budget every dollar. Okay, you got to pay for food, for transportation, for school, you know, internet, all those different things. You embrace your true expenses. You finally get used to it. But then you have to roll with the punches. What if your car breaks down, right? What if you have to move? What if you want to start investing, right? All those different things. So there's more money coming out. Oh, but then you get paid again, right? Bask in your budgeting glory, and it starts all over again. It's this cycle that you have to get used to. I'm telling you guys, budgeting is a really hard concept. It's a hard thing to do. I, as an adult, still have issues budgeting, okay? But it is so important, you guys. It's one of the most important life skills that you can have, is to really understand where every single dollar and cent goes in your budget. I think that's super important. So, yes, Belle, that's amazing. That is you. I hope that you are watching your mom. Ask her questions, right? Because it's super important, okay? So now, here's my question to you. What is the difference between a want versus a need? I'm hoping that most of you can actually verbalize this. What is the difference between a want and a need? So Dean, what is a necessity then? I'm just going to exit out of this so I can actually see what your guys is. Awesome. Good. Yes, Caitlin, I like you. Yeah, I like your, yes, Dean, that's much better. Food, water, roof, clothing. Those are your needs. You have to have those to live and survive, right? And a want is something you desire. That's right, Sean. Or something that you would enjoy having. Yeah, absolutely. Good, you guys. So you do understand the need. Here's where it gets a little murky, though, between your wants and needs. Okay, absolutely, Belle. Here's where it gets murky though, you guys. In our day and age, right, can you survive, say, with something like without the internet? What would the internet be? What would your cell phone be? What is your cell phone? Is your cell phone a want or a need? It's funny, and I'm kind of with, I'm kind of with Angelina on this. It's kind of really hard to say because in our day and age, because for right now, what if your job requires a cell phone, right? That sort of thing, right? Yeah, it's super hard. Right? It is. So with this day and age, needs and wants can sometimes overlap, right? That sort of thing. Or say, take a look at this example of, you can take a look at, let's use a cell phone again, right? Maybe you need a cell phone, but maybe you only need an iPhone 4 instead of the newest iPhone 10 or whatever's out at this point. I don't even know. Right? So Kirsten, exactly, right? Maybe you need something more simplistic, right? Versus the newest version of. Yeah, okay? So really it does kind of start to get a little murky between your needs and wants, right? That sort of thing. But interesting thoughts, you guys. Good. But you are understanding that needs, right, are your basic necessities, right? And wants are those, extras in life, okay? Josh, I don't know how much an iPhone, but now they've got the 7 out. I don't know how much the prices have dropped because I've got an iPhone 6 too. So I don't know how much the prices have dropped. When I bought my 6, yes, they were about $600. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I had a flip phone, Emily, just 3 years ago. I only moved to iPhone a couple years ago. I was the laughing stock of our building. All right. I loved my flip phone too, Kate. All right. So exactly what you guys said. Needs can be defined as goods or services that are required, right? Food, clothing, shelter, health care, those sort of things. Wants are goods or services that are not necessary, but that we desire or we wish for, right? One needs clothes, and this is what I was talking about with the phone, right, you guys? This is where that needs and wants kind of get murky. You need clothes, but maybe you don't need designer clothes, right? That's another example that we were just talking about. So these sort of things, you guys, you have to start thinking about when you're living on your own. How much do these things cost? Oh my gosh, how much does internet cost? How much does TV cost? How much do groceries cost, right? Electricity, water, aka utilities, right? How much does your phone cost? You guys are talking about your phone. Do you actually pay your phone bill or do your parents? Or are you guys on a family plan, right? There's different options there, right? There you go. So Belle, you pay for your own. You've got $30. Yeah. Right? So Jess, your parents are paying for it, and I don't think you're the only one. Yeah. 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 There you go. Yeah, good, Caitlin. Yeah, and you're right. Somebody just mentioned too, and I don't even want to scroll up, but groceries are super expensive too, right, you guys? Ask your parents how much they spend on groceries per pay period or per month, right? Now, it's different for when you start going out on your own, right? Because you don't have a family to feed. It's going to be you, right? Yeah, for sure. So Alexis and Belle, I for sure, so a family of 4, my husband and my kids and myself, we for sure pay $300 every week. That's what I'm paying for groceries. Yeah. So it is expensive, and it depends on your family values. That's the other thing too, right, you guys? I could for sure spend way less money, for sure, right? But I'm super into health and fitness. You guys know that about me. And I like to buy organic. I like to buy locally grown, which is more expensive, right? So I for sure can go way cheaper if I needed to, right? There's my wants and needs murky area, right? I for sure can go out and buy Mr. Noodle and, Campbell's soup and all that sort of stuff, but I choose not to, right? That's what I value, okay? So that's something that you guys need to think about too, is where are you on that scale? Where do your values fall? What do you think is super important? Can you live without something, right? That sort of thing. So yes, here we go. Now, I don't know, you guys, if we're actually going, I want to end today's class at about 9:45. So this video is about 24 minutes long, okay? So what we might do is I might get you guys to watch this after I go over the assignment with you guys. All right. And then you can start thinking about the questions on your own. All right. But this is, have you guys heard or actually seen this show on, I think it's on Slice. Yeah, it's called, I think it's called Princess. But Gail Vax-Oxley, you guys, is a Canadian financial advisor. She's phenomenal. She actually has a whole bunch of shows. She's got Princess. She's got Till Debt Do Us Part. She's got quite a few different shows on Slice. So she is phenomenal. So I want you, yeah, money, money, money. Yes, it was, Belle. That's right. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to watch this episode. It is in the assignment, okay? When you watch this episode, and you only have to watch till about minute 24, you guys, okay? Don't watch the whole thing. Only watch till about minute 24. This is what I want you to really think about though, okay? This video is about a princess. You will watch this girl and you'll be like, no one acts like this. She is very over the top. But what I want you to get out of this is the following, that you will learn how to avoid the pitfalls of overspending. You will learn about credit card debt and what it can do to you, okay? It will help you figure out your income. It's going to talk about budgeting. It's going to talk about moving out on your own and saving for something down the road, starting to think about your future, whether that's school, whether that's about a car, whether that's about a mortgage, whatever it is, okay? That's huge. So these questions, you guys, are all in the assignment as well. So you can look over those questions and just think about them as you're watching the video, okay? Can you relate to her? What is her relation? How does her money, how does her financial literacy affect her relationships, right? That sort of thing, okay? Huge. All right, so here's the actual assignment, okay? So it's called My Income. That's what you're gonna work out. What are some factors that can affect your guys' income? You'll find out, Emily, when you watch the video, why that picture's up there. Good, Caitlin. Your hobbies. Absolutely. Yep. Skill and education. Good, Christiana. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. The more skills, possibly the more education, it's going to affect your income. Emergencies. Good. Good, Kirsten. Yep, absolutely. The length of time that you're working there, depending on what job you have, depending on what career you have, you may have the potential to move up the ladder, right, with income and make more money, for sure. All right. So the first part of this assignment, you guys, is actually finding your income. So remember that minimum wage is $11.35 an hour here in BC, right? Okay. So the net income, I've given you your net income and your gross income, a little bit of the definitions of each, right? But I know that you guys already know the difference between them, okay? So a typical income for working 35 hours a week, say it just, a job, a first job, right? You guys, whether that's gas station, fast food restaurant, retail, whatever it is, think about that first job that you kind of have, right? If you're making that minimum wage and working 35 hours a week, which is still considered full-time, okay, you're making around that just under 400 mark, okay, for your gross income. That's before deductions. After deductions, you're making just over 350, okay? So you can see that about 50 bucks gets off your check, right? But that's per week. Most jobs are paid bi-weekly, right? Which means every 2 weeks. So you would double that amount, and that's what would be on your paycheck, right? Okay. So in the assignment, I have given you guys an income calculator. Okay. So you just have to follow the link. It's going to take you to a website, and you have to enter in your details. Okay. You have to make sure that you change the following information, okay? So make sure you change the province if it's not already the default. I can't remember what the default is. It might already be BC, okay? Make sure that you get paid bi-weekly. Make sure you change that. Make sure you change the pay rate to $11.35. Make sure it's hourly, okay? And then you put in your standard hours a week. This is how we came up with that amount, that 300 and whatever, right? So what you earn every 2 weeks would be $708.29. And it'll give you what's called the CRA remittance, okay, which is your deductions. So off of that biweekly paycheck, you guys, you lost $137. Dean, I don't know. I think it'll automatically put in today's date, right, when you go to it. And if it does, then you just have to make sure that your pay period is changed to biweekly. So I don't think you'll have to change the date, Dean. Okay? I think it automatically puts it in today's date. So just be aware of that. Now, this is your bi-weekly. This is what you would be paid every 2 weeks, right, you guys? But usually when you're budgeting, you think about it in a monthly sense, right? Because most of your bills only come out once a month. They don't come out every 2 weeks, okay, when we're paying our bills. So you want to make sure that you multiply that number by 2. So you're making approximately just over $1,400 per month, okay? That's working minimum wage and working 35 hours a week, all right? It may be different for you, all right? So for example, like Caitlin, if I can just pick on you for a bit and use you as an example, right? I would put in whatever you're making at McDonald's right now, right? So if you're making more than minimum wage, put it in, okay? If you're working more than 35 hours, put it in, okay? That sort of thing. So there's I want you to download the following Word doc, you guys, in the assignment, and it's going to help you organize your findings, okay? Make sure you follow all the instructions, okay? And include all the information, because I put in some questions in there too, so make sure that you're answering all the questions to really think, all right? So this is kind of what your Word document looks like, okay? So What job do you think you'll have when you finish high school, right? Will it be full-time, part-time? Maybe you're even going to work 2 part-time jobs, okay? Because sometimes it's actually hard to find full-time work, especially if you're even here in Kelowna. So if you want to work full-time hours, you might have to find 2 part-time jobs, okay? But think about if you're going to school. If you plan on going to school, super, super hard to work full-time as well, okay? Good. So Caitlin, you've been working 22 hours and maybe that'll stay about the same, right? Once you get out of high school and go to post-secondary, right? That might stay the same, right? Maybe you could bump it up a little bit more, okay? That's not true, Belle. There's still lots of jobs out there, all right? Think about how many hours you're going to work, right? Think about your hourly wage, what you're going to get paid, okay, that sort of thing. And then how that looks long term. How much you're making per month, how much you're working or making per year, that sort of thing. Okay, absolutely. So you're going to practice using the paycheck calculator, right? Okay. And then you're going to put in your own, okay? So you're practicing 2 different scenarios, okay? All right, you guys. So the first scenario is what you stated above for your hours. So you're still making minimum wage. You're still making $11.35. But how many hours that you stated above in the question number 3? How many hours do you think you can work each week? Put that into the paycheck calculator and find out how much money you're going to make bi-weekly. Okay? Figure that out. The second part is what working full-time would look like at minimum wage. Working that 35 to 40 hours per week. Okay? So you should end up getting the same, around that same, just over $1,400 a month. Okay? Then working in the summertime. This is different, right, you guys? This is a different scenario because in the summertime, you're not going to school and you can bump up your hours. Okay? No, Jocelyn, we're talking about when you move out after high school. You do not have your career. Okay? That's the difference. You do not have your career yet. I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible for you guys, right? With the scenario that's going to come first. I want to give you the skills of budgeting. And then once you guys actually get out on your own, you're going to be like, oh, okay, now I have this much money and I can adjust my budgets, right? We're really working on the skill of budgeting right now, okay? So we've got to base it on a realistic number, which for you guys will be when you're in college, how much are you working, that sort of thing, okay? Again, right? Using the summer months, follow the instructions. All right, you guys? So you kind of have 4 different scenarios there. All right? So this is going to be out of 5 marks, you guys. Make sure you take all the snips that you want, right? All of that. Make sure you give all your answers, all of that. All right? Save your document, upload it to Moodle. Now, what I wanted to point out before I let you guys go, make sure to watch that movie too, you guys. Or not the movie, the video clip, right? Make sure you watch that. The last assignment that I want you guys to do is the planning out my costs. So we've talked about income, so money coming in. Now you got to look at money coming out. All right? And that's what planning out my costs is. And you need to do this one on your own. All right, you guys? So, and then you're done. That's it. So normally I'd make you do a whole budget and all of that, but we don't have time. So I figured this is like super basic for you guys. I'm giving you the intro to financial literacy. All right. So that's going to be due next class. So Thursday. And then we're going to go over on Thursday, you guys. We'll skip back to English and we'll be doing the exam. Not doing the exam, sorry, don't freak out. Going over what the exam looks like. Yes, so Belle, starting on the 29th, you're going to have science with Miss Mac, socials with me, and then I still don't, I'm thinking PE with Miss Mac, foods with Miss Wood is what I'm thinking is what it's going to be like. Yeah, Mrs. Wood, Caitlin. Yes. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, and Kyla, yes, good luck. But we'll still get to see you, right, Kyla, on the final exam. So we can do our final goodbyes. And I think, too, Josh will be leaving us as well. Josh, right? Are you moving on, Josh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Angelina, PE. It's PE online. It's going to be all mostly DL style. Okay, so there's some assignments that you're gonna be doing. All right, that sort of thing. There's assignments online that you'll have to do, and then you're gonna be tracking your activity. That's what it is. Yes, Caitlin, except there's actually assignments that you have to do. There are actual written assignments. Yeah, so Belle, if you do about 5 hours a week, that will hopefully, cross your fingers, 5 to 7 hours a week should get you your 100 hours. Yeah. So Belle, you'll be totally fine. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'm going to stick on Blackboard for like 5 more minutes, you guys. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Okay, I can chat for a bit, but I think we're done for our live classroom. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go. Finish off those assignments, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. All right? Okay, bye, you guys.